Juliet of Soltar Solutions, and I am here today with another episode of Focus Forward. I am very excited to have this guest coming to us from New Smyrna Beach, Florida. He is entrepreneur, financial education advocate, and author. I want you to welcome to the show today Dan Williams. He is author of The Finance Camp for Kids. This is a phenomenal book. Dan, how are you today?
Very good, Lori. How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm so happy that you're here with us.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Why, thank you. I love this book. I love this book. I was reading this book, and I'm interested in the stories in this book. It was so good. The messages in this book are vital for children to have. How did you come up with this idea?
Well, it's very homegrown. For 7 years, I had my own real estate investment company. I was a real estate investor here in Central Florida. And, as we experienced this credit crunch, several years ago in the meltdown of the housing industry, I was sitting on my couch one afternoon. I'm a natural teacher. Years ago, I was a high school math teacher. And I said, everybody's jumping out of buildings, wigging out, watching their 401ks get cut in half, and really don't have any control over it. But what are we doing for our future? What are we doing to help, our future generations to come here in this country and abroad for that matter? What are we doing? So I said, I'm going to do something about it. And so it just sort of evolved out of what we've, the living history that we've experienced in the last 5-6 years. And I'm proud to have stuck the course and believe in the mission of, an increase we need in this country for financial education and just basic principles that are not being taught, whether it's in, public-private schools, community outreach programs. And I said, I'm going to do something about it. And that's how the product has came about.
So when you say that the principles aren't being taught, what exactly do you mean by that? Which principles do you think we're not teaching?
Well, basic concepts and understandings, what is an asset? Well, a true asset puts money in your pocket, good debt versus bad debt. Why is it important when you borrow money to repay it? What is interest? What are the effects of interest rates? Why is credit important? Things that regardless of what we do, you can be a doctor, a teacher, or a lawyer, an accountant, whatever you choose to do as a career, you still have to think financially more entrepreneurial and as a business person. The world has changed. Years ago, I studied a lot of history about finance, especially in this country, and our money is no longer backed by gold. It hasn't been in a long time. So we've became a debt nation, and if you don't have control of your personal finances, at the very minimal, it's very hard to get ahead in today's world. And for kids coming in, everybody's born, with our national debt and everything else. And so we need to start growing entrepreneurs in this country.
So you think that when children are raised with more financial education and more of an understanding of the things that you mentioned, like asset, like debt, the difference between good debt and bad debt, so you think that that's going to eventually help them to be more successful and be better for our nation in general? Is that right?
I do. In fact, I think that it's laying the groundwork to have stemming young entrepreneurs in the mix. We need job creators. We've seen a high unemployment for the last, half decade. I do. I believe in this product. I believe, when you can get to children love to learn. They have to enjoy it. But everybody likes money. You hear people say, oh, money's bad. It's greedy. We need it to survive. And it does help make life simpler. So if I can help our future with this product, then I think I'm doing my job with some of the experiences that I've been blessed with as an entrepreneur and a lot of self-study. Then I'm doing my job. Yep.
Absolutely. So I loved the stories in this book, like Peaches gets into a financial jam. I thought that was so cute, but it was the message. And I love the way you have at the end of each little story, you have the message written here in very large letters. So it's like the children really can't miss that. And the stories that you take them through are stories that they themselves could see happening to them. And so I love these stories in here. How did you come up with these stories?
Well, a lot of those stories are from personal experiences for myself, you know, and just or friends and people and businesses and trying to just take those basic concepts, you know, of the 10 short stories that are comprised in the book. Every single one, I wanted to make sure that it targeted a specific lesson. And by using, you know, animated type characters and illustrations, I wanted to keep the audience focused on it's fun, it's a good product, it's enjoyable, but they're also learning about, you know, these financial principles that we need to teach.
Well, I noticed that not only the financial principles, but there were also strong morals in this as well, like the Mr. Made It and the lion Leo. I thought that was really fascinating. That the story is that he borrows money. The little lion borrows money to buy a house and finds the house, and Mr. Made It, who has tons of money, helps him to do that, and then he spends all the money that he makes just on little things, just nice shirts and things like that. He wastes it. And then when the renters move, he can't pay it back. And he hides. He hides. And then he feels badly about hiding, and he comes out, which I think is phenomenal. Because when you do owe money, you do get into a situation, the first thing you want to do is hide. You know? But then he comes back, and the moral of that story is very strong, that it's important. Why is it important to borrow the money? So the question is right here for these children that are reading this book, and adults too could use this, I'll tell you, to understand why it's important to do what you say you're going to do. So this is a great book. I love it. So did you actually start out with the message and work back to the story, or how did you do that?
Well, when I said, you know, I'm going to write a book about this, I have a newfound respect for authors, musicians, actors, actresses, because I'm a very black and white, right or wrong type of person, and a lot of creativity that I didn't know. It took a while to evolve. This has been a process now with lining up the artwork with the illustrator and the stories and trying to take the overall message in my outline and make it so it's been about a 2.5, 3-year process. And so once again, it just evolved, but wanting to implement, you know, sound moral decisions when it comes to financial principles. And, you know, the audience, of course, is targeted towards, the genre is targeted towards a younger audience. However, parents, grandparents, teachers, organizations, you know, we have a complimentary workbook coming along, so it doesn't seem like a chore, you know, for children to have to sit down and learn, where it's more of an activity to keep the interest going. And yeah, I mean, it's just been a long time coming, and like I said previously, I'm glad I stuck to course.
Well, I was so happy because it was a few weeks ago when I got home from doing the show, and there was this package, and I was like, who do I know in New Smyrna Beach? And I opened it up, and there was the book. I was so excited. I got you on the phone right away and said, would you be on the show? Because it was just a year ago that I met you in New Smyrna Beach, and you were telling me all about the book. You'd be surprised how many people tell me about books they're writing, and we never actually see them. But this was such a thrill for me to be able to see that your dream, which I thought was so important to get the messages out there, but you'd taken that dream and you made it a reality. So I'm really impressed with you. I'm really proud of you. And I love the book. I love it. It's wonderful. So So consider yourself, congratulate yourself and be kind with you. And now the workbook, tell me a little bit about the workbook. Does it relate to the individual chapters?
It does, yes. Well, there are 10 chapters in the book, each with a specific lesson. So I have a page, it's going to be a 16-page layout, okay? And every single chapter will have a 3 to 4 question, designed to pull out the information that they did learn. And I've had a lot of friends and family members look at the book and share it with their kids, their loved ones. And it's very powerful when you have an 8 or 9-year-old sort of come to the realization, well, maybe we shouldn't buy a bunch of little doodads, because we could put that money to good use and buy something that, something a little better, or something that could help us and to expand. So it does work. I mean, it's, going through this process, it was sort of like, okay, you're writing this kid's book. I wonder if it's going to be effective or not. And so this workbook will complement everything that they do inside. We're also going to have, because it is with children and I want it to be exciting and enjoyable for them, but we're going to have a word search, a crossword puzzle, some definition, and apply some of the artwork that's in the book into the workbook. So it's not your traditional mundane textbook. It's an enjoyment that could be laying on the coffee table in somebody's house. It could be at the doctor's office. It could be at a summer camp. It's a product that we want to make sure is implementing the message, okay, of financial responsibility and to raise financial intelligence, but also to be enjoyable, Well,
I love word searches, so make sure that I get one of those, because I love those. But the other thing that I've noticed is this book, it starts out where the messages are really a lot more basic. But then when you get into the story of Granny and the garage sales and how she's not gonna, she doesn't want to give the kids money for helping her. She wants them to actually come up with ways to earn the money. I mean, it is really interesting to look at really implanting in the children's brain the idea that they can be an entrepreneur, that they can, it gives them, it empowers them to really think about the financial world and how they think of money. I think it really can change their concept about money from something that their parents are just giving them, all right, to keep them happy or so they can buy things, to really developing financial responsibility and building wealth, which I love that. So, so I'm really excited to be seeing what you're doing with this. And then now I want to talk a little bit about the actual marketing of this book. When I received the book, I also got this little brochure in the mail. In the book, I got 4 or 5 of these little brochures, which fit nicely in an envelope. You can send out to friends, and has contact information on it. So tell me about the marketing of your book. What are your plans for marketing this book?
Okay. Well, obviously with technology and the internet, your social media, we're in the process of building that and getting it out to as many contacts as we can. Social media is here to stay, whether people like it or not. As you know, I mean, look what we're doing right now. We're 1,300 miles away. As far as target markets, I've chosen, along with with a few friends and just helping out and suggestions and ideas, to really look at homeschool organizations. I think is a huge market plan for us. School districts. The thing with marketing to school districts, so many times you have to become a vendor through the county or the individual school districts. It might be better, I'm going to be displaying a lot of the product directly to teachers. I think that if they can get their hands on the actual product, when it comes time to ordering the product, to go to public schools as well. Scouts, looked at, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, they earn badges now. They earn badges that they can place on their uniforms for different things that they do and financial responsibility. So I think it goes hand in hand in there. and then as well as even the FDIC. The FDIC, as you're aware of, regulates the banks here in the United States, and I've had a lot of interest from bankers and different people, financial advisors that say, you know, we just don't have anything to distribute. We understand the importance of financial education. It's a wonderful product, a great idea, but there's just nothing out there. And so those are probably the biggest target markets that I'll be looking, in addition to all the individual orders. I think, you know, it's a very homegrown based product. The likes of Amazon, our website, you know, CreateSpace, all your internet-based opportunities, you know, anything and everything. But those are some of our key target markets. And then I'll be in New York City as well for the Book Expo of America at the end of May. And that's the largest book festival in America. And I'll be there with a booth. My brother will be attending it with me. He's the illustrator. And in a 3-day time period, there's roughly 20,000 vendors. Everybody from Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, but it's from a global standpoint. So lots of work to be done. Lots of work to be done this year. So a little bit of everything.
Well, I've known many people that have actually become very successful authors, entrepreneurs that have gotten their start through the Book Expo. So that's a great opportunity for you right there to go and do that. So that's wonderful. So have you made contact with those people that are coming to the Book Expo prior to actually meeting them there?
We are in the process of doing that. In fact, there's, I believe, roughly 250 to 300 vendors. Have a list, have their addresses. We'll be sending a club card with Danimal and Harry on it, and you know, very catchy with the artwork, just to say, hey, stop by and see us. This is the first year I've been told in roughly 100 years of this event going on that they're opening the last day completely for the public. So that's going to be exciting as well. And by my brother, the illustrator, being there as well, we'll have a good time passing out bookmarkers and brochures and following up and trying to direct everyone to our site, which we have, you know, being launched as we speak. So, yeah, I mean, it's a very, very busy year. It's a course that I am proud to have taken, and a challenge, you know, with the many friends, you're including yourself, very thankful for the help, but let's just get the concept, the idea out there, and to raise financial education in this country.
Well, it's fabulous. It's fabulous. I'm very excited for you. And the other thing is the product is I think it's so important, because I think that a lot of parents are not as financially responsible as they could be. And I think that they're not going to fess up and be as honest with their children maybe about how they go about understanding their financial responsibility and how to also build wealth. I don't think a lot of people know. So if you don't know, there's no way you can teach your child. So this is an excellent tool that right away involves them. And I really like it. I really think it's you know, it's fascinating. So in looking at it, you're going to go to the Book Expo. What else are you doing? I know that's a lot, but what else are you doing?
Well, always lots of stuff. I've actually self-nominated for about 15 awards, another 10 or so throughout this year. So looking to see if that'll help generate any, you know, one of which is right here down in Orlando in my backyard, the Institute of Financial Literacy. Maybe speaking at their convention. That's at the Orange County Convention in Orlando. That's coming up in April. A lot of different book shows here in the Florida region. I'm in the process of speaking with retailers such as Family Christian Stores, Books A Million, Barnes and Nobles, to be speaking. The public library systems. A fellow author friend of mine suggested that I contact some of the libraries, and they actually advertise for you, and I'll go speak about, you know, why I wrote this book and the importance of financial education. So just Everything and anything. I mean, I've done some local radio already, which is going to be aired here in the next week or two, and that's going to reach, quite an audience out of Daytona Beach, Florida, and the Orlando markets. I'm going to be doing some radio and different interviews and things. So everything and anything. I wish I had more of a definitive answer, but it's interesting in the fact that I've never written a book before, never promoted it, and literally anybody can go on the United States Copyright Office and file a copyright, and there you have a copyrighted work. It's a whole different thing to promote it and to get it out there, and a challenge that I look forward to. I feel this is my mission over the last 2 or 3 years. I've made this choice. I wouldn't change it for the world, because I know that this product is needed, and if kids could start learning sooner about one of the things is it's almost impossible now to save your way to wealth. I mean, just in the world we live in, with taxes and wages that have sort of decreased over the last decade. So therefore, you really can't become financially free from working a job. There's nothing wrong with working a job, but you will never be able to be financially free now. And so the only way to do that is to become an entrepreneur of some sort. If you like to cut grass, become the biggest lawn service company that you can and hire as many employees and create jobs. And if you like to cook, become the best cook you can. Maybe you can become a restaurant entrepreneur. So just basic principles, and I'm just very proud and very excited about this, and I'm looking forward to a very busy, good year.
Well, that's great. Well, you know what? I think you're doing tons of things. I mean, it sounds to me like you're really moving in the right direction. And, the easy part is writing the book. The easy part is writing it. It's then you got to promote it. And that is where the real work comes in. And unless you're really dedicated to that, it's easy to have it fall by the wayside. I mean, I know where you live. It's beautiful. The beach is right there. You have a pool outside. It would be very, very easy to just say, you know what, my work is done. But in reality, it's the pushing that book that's gonna make all the difference. You have a fabulous product. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna do very well. So, putting your one foot in front of the other every day is what's gonna make the difference. So, before we go, what are 3 tips that you could give right now to maybe a parent about teaching their child about financial literacy?
Well, I would say the first one, and ironically, I don't have children, but I've worked with thousands of them, and all my friends have children of their own. So I would say the first thing is to be involved every day. I think everybody gets busy with their schedules. So many people have suffered, financial setbacks over the last several years. I would say be involved. Take a product such as this or anything else or any other information that you can get and try to make it relate to real life. If your child wants a new bicycle, for example, it's faster to maybe just go out and buy it for them, but where they can learn how to come up with some money of their own. So definitely be involved would be the first thing. The second thing is never quit learning. Whether it's formal education, such as, bachelor's, master's, your traditional university education, but never quit learning because we're here for a short time. But, every day you should strive to learn something new and to be a positive and upbeat person, because that's contagious. And finally, just be happy. We're in life here, and sometimes people do experience setbacks or things, but you have to get back up and brush your shoulders off and continue to work hard. And if you can implement all that kind of a positive motivation to your child or children, you're doing a good job. I thank you personally for being that kind of a parent, because, we have a lot of great parents, but we don't have, there's a lot of bad parents in the world too. So just be a positive role model, and the rest will all work itself out, and life will be better for it.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much, because what you're saying is exactly true. And I think since I've met you, you have learned and grown and really, I mean, it's amazing what you've been able to do. So and this whole book launch, that's another opportunity to just stretch and to keep learning and to keep growing. And it's a vibrant and exciting time in your life, and I'm really proud of you. So great product, great story. I'm really happy for you. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Lori. I really appreciate you having me on the show today. I will definitely get you up some marketing materials and a complimentary workbook for you. And I just thank you again for your time. And I hope it's not too cold up there in Minneapolis.
Oh, it's cold. It's cold. It's cold. Don't worry about that.
You have to come down and visit again.
I'm coming down. Okay,
right.
So thank you so much for tuning in to Focus Forward today. I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I've enjoyed my interview with Dan Williams. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon here on Focus Forward.